Good morning. This webinar offers closed captioning. To enable closed captioning, click on the live transcript button on the bottom of your screen and choose your preferred method. Welcome to Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection webinar. Please note any website or email that I mention will be posted in the chat box. For those seeking business licensing assistance, you can visit the Small Business Center at City Hall or call 312-74-GO-BIZ. Also, business licenses can be applied for or renewed online at chicagobusinessdirect.org. If you are part of the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program, you can get credit for joining this webinar by sending an email to bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. If you want to learn about the program, please visit chicago.gov/business education. Also, this webinar is being recorded and will be available at youtube.com/ChicagoBACP. I will post the mentioned information in the chat box. We encourage attendees to ask questions. Please use the chat box to send your questions. There will be a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Please note that the views, information, and opinions expressed during this webinar are solely those of the presenter and do not necessarily represent the official policy or position of the Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection or the City of Chicago. Now, today's webinar will be Reach Customers Online with Google, presented by JinJa Birkenbeuel, Illinois Google Digital Coach, host of Honest Field Guide podcast, and NFT and Web3 instructor. JinJa?
Thank you so much, Geraldine. I appreciate that warm introduction. I'm so excited that everybody's here today on Friday morning. It's been a very hot, blazing, but amazing week in Chicago. We've had beautiful weather, beautiful sunshine, which is always the best of Chicago for sure. I again want to welcome everybody to the Reach Customers Online with Google. And thank you so much, as usual, Business and Consumer Affairs and Protection of the City of Chicago, one of Google and Grow with Google's most tremendous partner, as well as my agency's tremendous partner as well. So thank you very much for always being such a great host. I'm JinJa Birkenbeuel, as Geraldine said. I'm the CEO of Burke Creative, and I see all these wonderful good mornings in the chat. I love it. I love it. Good morning, everybody. My company, Burke Creative, is a visual identity and multi-channel brand strategy company, and we help businesses of all sizes get customers and attention. I'm also the founder of the Honest Field Guide podcast. I'd love for everybody to sign up and subscribe to my podcast. I interview entrepreneurs and small business owners from across the United States, and I just recently interviewed Lisa Beasley. She is a comedian, and she's got a fantastic conversation that I have with her on my podcast. You should definitely check that out. I also have a platform called Journey of Gratitude, which I just launched in the pandemic. It's a nonprofit organization that's dedicated to research and helping onboard small businesses and entrepreneurs to Web3, Metaverse, and NFT platforms. And I'm also a songwriter in a band called Utah Carol, a country band and a soft rock band. And we have 3 records and working on our 4th album. So I'd love for everybody to check out all the things. It's called the Honest Field Guide podcast, and you can put it in Google. It has excellent SEO, which we're going to talk a little bit about today. You should find it on Apple or Google Podcasts, which is actually the best podcast platform to listen to it on, because you don't need an app. You can just click and listen. It's pretty cool. Okay, so today we're going to learn how customers can find your business online and what happens when customers search for a business like yours. We're going to explore how search works, and then we're going to explore the 3 ways that search appears in Google, which is really exciting. I'm going to share some other digital tools as well to help you grow your online presence. And if we don't get to answer questions in the chat as it's going, I do sometimes take a look at the chat, but I also realize we have limited time. I will be taking Q&A at the end, and hopefully Geraldine will help me facilitate that process. So why don't we go ahead and get started with this. What questions do you have for me before I get started? You can put them in the chat. All right. Okay. I always like to give like 7 seconds. That's usually my rule of thumb, with things like this. Okay. Also, really quickly, now I know Geraldine has and the BACP have a survey that they'd like you to take at the end of all the workshops, which is really great. I actually have a workshop survey as well. If you could provide feedback on today's training through the survey, it would be very, very helpful. The Google and the Grow with Google Digital Coaches team is really looking for data to figure out and evaluate how to make these trainings better for you. So you can click this anytime, and I'm actually going to copy the direct link and put it in the chat right now. You can take this at any time during this workshop, and also feel free to leave any information that you feel is relevant related to this content. Chicago is a leader in the survey return process, and we've been really helpful in helping the entire Google Grow with Google organization understand how they can make these workshops even better. All right. So this is information that you can contact me. I'd love to hear from you. The best place to reach me is actually Instagram or LinkedIn. And also, if you do decide to do any postings on Instagram, if you could please tag Digital Coaches Program, that would be really amazing, because our team is looking for stories, learner stories, and we do take these stories and we do reshare them. So if you tag Digital Coaches Program and also tag Burke Creative as Illinois Google Digital Coach, then we can be sure to read your story and retweet it, okay? All right. Also, I believe I have another workshop coming up in July with BACP. Hopefully, Geraldine will mention that in the chat. I'm really looking forward to having that additional workshop that's coming up. All right, so I want you to take a moment and think about how you typically find and connect with businesses that may need your products or services, right? So most of us, I'm sure, start our research online. I'm sure that that's how we do it. That's how I do it. I always look for what I'm looking and interested in, what the kinds of things I want to buy, the kinds of things I'm trying to do. I'm always like, I have to start online first, right? And you probably do this now more than ever, especially because we're in a COVID area and you never really know if stores are open, if they've closed down permanently, if they have different hours. It's just, everything's random. And of course, with the supply chain challenges we have, sometimes you don't even know if products are in stock. Now, this is not a Google shopping workshop, but I do talk a little bit about what it takes to kind of get your information online and how to keep it up to date. So think about that process that you take, and that's the process I want you to think about when it comes to you creating a process for your customers to find you as well. So what does this mean for your business? Your website may be your new front door. It's really the first interaction that your potential customers have with your business. Your online presence may be the only place that customers have contact with your business, right? It really depends. So it's really important to grow an online digital footprint and a digital storefront. This is not a brand strategy session, but just as importantly, it's important to create a professional brand for yourself as well, because your professional brand also can drive business to your store brand or your product brand or your service brand, things like that. According to Google data from February 2021, this is relatively recent data, searches for local plus businesses have grown by more than 80% year over year, including searches like local businesses near me and support local businesses. We're continuing to see consumer behavior evolve. According to a study commissioned by Google, 61% of US customers think buying online and picking up in-store or curbside will be beneficial for them, even when there's no restrictions in place. And I know for myself personally that I love seeing a sign in front of a store that says curbside pickup available, because sometimes that's really all I want to do. I don't want to go inside. So today we're really going to discuss the different ways you can connect with customers online, especially those looking for businesses just like yours. And I want to show a short video, and hopefully it'll play properly. We'll see. So keep your fingers crossed that it plays. Actually, I think I might have, it's probably I think I actually might have taken it out of the workshop because I didn't know for sure if it was going to play. So, all right, so we're just going to skip to the agenda. So here's the agenda for today's session. I'm going to start showing you the 3 ways your info can appear on Google search, right? So we have search engine optimization, otherwise known as SEO. If you've heard of it, that's exciting. If there's any SEO experts on this call, please show yourself. Let everybody know that you're an SEO expert, and maybe someone will like to connect with you to get some help. We're going to talk about a business profile, which is really exciting, one of my favorite features of Google tools, and online advertising. I'm going to talk a little bit about Google Ads. If you want to take a look at a good business profile, I'm going to toot my own horn a little bit, but if you type in Burke Creative, you can take a look at what my business profile looks like. And for those of you that have a business profile, take a look at what your profile looks like right now. Open an incognito window and type in your business name and see what shows up. The other thing I want to suggest before I get into the actual content, I'd love for everybody in the chat to say hello and introduce yourself and let us know what the name of your company is. If you have a podcast like me, the Honest Field Guide podcast, I'm always looking to listen to new podcasts. If you have a link that you can share that directs someone to buy something directly from your business, I'd like to see what you're selling, and I'd like to see how your business looks, and what you're interested in, things like that. So please sort of get used to saying hello to everybody in the chat. I mean, this is actually the new way of work, and this is how people get jobs now. They have networking through chat, which is really something I never ever would have thought would be happening in the real world. So for example, I love overartsy.com. That's a great name. And hello, Alicia Fuller, licensed professional counselor. Yes, I love that. I love that. I love that. Okay, so let's get started with how Google search works so you can understand how your website can show up in search results. So I want you to imagine a library with billions and billions of books, and I don't know, when's the last time you've been in a library, right? But I have. I go there a little bit because I have 3 kids, but there's no card catalog to help you though when you're online, and you're not just searching for a book. You need specific information inside the book pages, and that's kind of what a web page looks like. So when you think of it in that way, finding what you need seems relatively impossible, but that's why Google is amazing. That's why search engines like Google are really excellent. When a person searches on Google, they may start off by typing a word or a phrase describing what they want to find in the web. This is called a search query. So one way to try this right now is to open another window on your desktop. And if you're on your desktop, hopefully this is really the best way to get the content. Open another window on your desktop, open it in incognito, and type something in like registered nurse. Nathan Frierson is a registered nurse. Type in registered nurse near me, and that's kind of a way to help you understand how search queries work in Google. And then when you see the registered nurse near me, look for the results and see what comes up. And that's what you're hoping your information will show up, because if you've taken care of your online profile, then maybe your information will show up. All right, so Google helps people find information on the web by sorting through those billions of web pages and showing people where to find answers they're looking for. It's a big piece of software that takes the query you type, like registered nurse near me, into the search box and looks for the answer across the entire web, right? So this illustration that you're seeing right here represents an example of a Google search results page, and hopefully you are doing it right now. It's important to note that the content and layout of this page may be kind of different depending on the search and depending on where you're searching, if you're on a mobile device, a desktop, a tablet, where you're located, things like that. But today we're going to really focus on the 3 typical ways your business can appear in the results: in the organic results, with a business profile, and by advertising. And like I mentioned, if you type in Burt Creative, you should see an ad show up, because I run ads 365 days a year without fail. I always have a presence. I want to be wherever people are, because I don't know where they are. So I want to be where they are. So I'm always running advertising, whether it's on Google or other platforms, okay? So, all right, so it's more complicated than that, right? There's a lot going on behind the scenes. Things are happening very quickly. I can't even, like snapping my finger doesn't even capture how fast it takes for Google to return results when you have a query. But first of all, Google makes its own copy of the entire web, scans it, and catalogs all the content. It's like the index of a book, except it is 10 trillion times longer. So if a potential customer searches for a phrase, yoga pants, for example, Google identifies all the relevant results and puts them in order of what it thinks are the most useful. So to do this, it considers where the search is located, whether the page was updated recently, how many other pages link to that page, and whether there's pictures of yoga pants on the page, and much, much more, right? So it does all this in less than 1 second, billions of times a day. You might be asking yourself, why is this information useful? Well, I'm the kind of person that I'm always very curious. I like to know things, because when I know things, I can go places and I can go farther with my career, my professional goals, and all kinds of things. And also, it's also helpful to know these things, because when you're looking for a job, or when you're an employer looking for employees, it's really helpful to understand if people understand how technology works, because technology is what's driving business. So now that you understand a little bit more about the massive scope of the web and how Google works to index all of that information, we can move on to talking about how to get your business to show up when people search for what you have to offer. And as I mentioned earlier, Google considers many factors when cataloging and ranking pages. This means that there's more than one way that you can help your business appear on Google and move up in the rankings. So the first way your business might show up to appear is what we call organic or natural results, which is down the center of the results page as shown here, right? So Google builds these pages of results for every single search to deliver the most relevant results for that particular searcher. So for example, the search results might appear on a different page for people searching for Saskatoon, Canada, or Nashville, Tennessee, right? It really does depend. You can see how the website, for example, Trade Street Jam can appear in Google search results. And this is actually a great jam company owned by a Black woman-owned business. It's very, very amazing. How does Google decide what websites to show and in what order? Well, there's more than 200 signals that Google considers to determine which web pages should appear in which searches. Organic search results, which are the best search results and the most difficult to get, but some of the most powerful, are very different than paid search advertising. So how high your site ranks in organic search is really a matter of your site being the most useful answer to the query entered by the searcher. That is what they're looking for on Google. And Google really does try to give people what they want, what they're asking for. So while you can't just buy a better organic search ranking, you can put a lot of effort into optimizing your website and improve its visibility on Google and other search engines. And that's called search engine optimization, or SEO, which I mentioned earlier. So, SEO is a very long, beautiful, helpful, stunningly significant and important process. I'm not going to do an entire presentation on SEO. And like I said, are there any SEO experts in the building, please stand up. But here's a quick overview. So SEO refers to the techniques that improve your website rank in Google search results and attract higher quantity and quality website visits to grow your online presence. So SEO is important when it comes to managing a website for your product, service, or brand. When customers use search engines, they're typically looking for a specific product, like I mentioned earlier, right? A service, registered nurse, or a solution. But sometimes they want to be entertained, educated, or reassured. So regardless, whether they have a specific need or want that your website may be able to fulfill, ranking and search results for particular keywords, topics, and phrases can help you connect with your ideal customer, always. I love it. Catherine Tapiero with Kevin H. Ma Insurance Agency. I love that. I mean, that's a very competitive space. So I'm hoping that you're going to get something out of this class, because you really do need SEO when you're in the insurance space for sure. There's so much competition. Okay, so people who are just getting started with SEO have a tendency to think it's very complicated, or you have to have a background in tech to do it. But there's plenty of non-technical things you can do first to help your pages show up in search before you decide, if you decide you want to activate a professional to help you. So first, focus on your content. Regularly publish relevant original content. It should be useful and accurate. There's no rule of thumb, but the more frequently you update your website, the more likely it will appear in search engine results. When you're writing content, you want to include potential keywords that potential customers will use to find your pages. So you want to organize your website logically into clearly labeled areas. And there's something more to a clearly labeled area, but it has to be, logically organized, that leads visitors to more easily find what they're looking for. And it also helps Google understand the content on your website. Every single web page includes a title and a description, which is part of the code. Many content management systems like WordPress or Wix offer the option to enter this text. If you have the option, make sure all these elements are descriptive, specific, and accurate. You never want to use fancy, dreamy words when it comes to a website or helping customers find your business. You really want to be very specific and describe things as accurately as you can. Always, 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 because Google needs to be able to translate that into code. So if you're stuck on the relevant, timely content part, there is a free tool that can help. There's a tool called Google Trends. I love it. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but right now I'd love for you to go to Google and type in Google Trends, and you will get a web page that will show you what Google Trends is, right? It can help you research content strategies and refine your marketing messages for your website, and frankly, for any of the other places where you share content, right? It's not just for your website. It shows the relative popularity of different keyword searches on Google over time. It's actually pretty fun. A lot of journalists use this because they want to know what people are reading, because when they know what people are reading, they write articles that people are reading about, which means they get more eyeballs on their content, right? That's how it works. So data is represented in a graph on a scale of 0 to 100, with 100 representing the peak search volume. If it has enough data, trends can show a forecast of search volume, related popular searches, and rising searches, which are searches experiencing significant growth. So you can use it to compare the popularity of different words and phrases, determine seasonality of different searches, see where searches happen geographically, and also see related searches. I love this tool. I used it for a client. She has a company that manufactures exfoliating skin scrubs, and she was trying to understand, like, how do I market this business more appropriately? How can I market my product more appropriately? Because it was actually a new launch. So we did some research on Google Trends and discovered that her body scrub was actually really, any type of body scrubs in general, I mean, because we were doing a general search, were popular in certain parts of Florida, certain parts of the year. And she's like, wow, I never actually thought about targeting my product to specific locations at specific times of the year. So that was a really exciting exercise for her, because it did help her think strategically about how she's sharing content and what the messages are that she was creating to share the content for her product, which was an amazing exfoliating shaving scrub, which, by the way, I found out you use this particular scrub before you shave because it actually helps you get a better shave. And in Florida during spring break, everybody wants to have smooth skin. It was just one of those, like, oh my goodness, who would have thought that? And it's only because of Google Trends that we learned this. All right, so here's an example of how another real business, T-Drop, for example, mytdrop.com, use Google Trends. So when researching how people in the United States search for bubble tea, they learned that on the West Coast, more people search for the word boba, which is B-O-B-A. On the East Coast, more people search for the word bubble tea. So this information is incredibly useful when developing a content strategy for your website and your advertising, right? So again, I really want you to go visit google.com trends and check it out. It's really a fun tool. I love it. I actually did research to understand the difference between how do you sell vodka versus bourbon. And I really learned a little bit more about the liquor industry, that there's certain parts of the country that are heavily into bourbon drinking versus vodka. And it fascinated me. I had no idea. All right. So now is the time to start practicing and using your list of keywords. You should have a window open with Google Trends. And if you don't, please do it. Enter some keywords or phrases you would like to compare. Anything you want, anything. It can be entertainment, it can be business related, whatever you want to do. Try it out. Enter the keywords or phrases you'd like to compare. Narrow down the results by location. Adjust the ranges to see how or if the results appear different. And then explore related searches for more ideas. It's that easy and it's that fun. All right, so here's a few more technical things that can affect SEO. You want to make sure your website loads quickly, especially for people viewing your site on mobile devices. If it's slow, people bounce out. I know I do. I don't have time anymore. A slow site will encourage visitors to navigate away, and it also can affect your search rankings. If your site's slow, Google will, kind of say it's not loading. Second, be sure your website is easy to use and read no matter how visitors get there. A lot of times websites nowadays are built with responsive design, which means that they adjust to the device being used, whether it's a mobile device or a tablet. And there's two resources that can help you with this. There's a resource called Google Test My Site tool, and then there's Google Search Console. The other thing I want to mention too about search results, and we're not really talking about social media here, but when you have content on social media, that actually helps raise your rankings as well, but you have to be posting on social media quite often. It's not just once a month or once a quarter. So you can check the speed of your site by trying this tool. It's called g.co/testmysite. I highly recommend you use this site because you'll get this really amazing scorecard. I'm going to put this in the chat. You'll get a scorecard which will show you, how fast your site is, how long it takes, things like that. Keep in mind, it's not just the strength of the web connection that determines mobile speed. It's also the elements on the pages of your website, right? So sometimes people have really large photographs and it takes forever to load those images, and that's the kind of thing that drags down the ability for Google to find your page. So after evaluating your site, the test generates a report and it gives you some suggestions for what you can do to improve your website. So try that. It's really an amazing tool. I love it. All right, so next is Google Search Console. This tool is used it used to be called Webmaster Tools. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that phrase. If you've been to my classes before, I love Google Search Console. It's one of the best tools out there. It really helps you understand if your site's broken in certain places, if there's redirects that you hadn't intended, things like that. It's really important for search engine optimization because it helps measure your site's search traffic, performance, and it helps you fix issues and discover them. And it also helps improve in Google search results. It's typically used by SEO specialists or marketers to monitor website traffic, optimize your rank, and make informed decisions about the appearance of your website in the results. So the information in the Search Console can be used to influence technical decisions for the website and do sophisticated marketing analysis in conjunction with other tools like analytics, trends, and ads. If you don't handle the technical details for your website, you really should be aware of the Search Console and what kind of information it offers. And you can access the Search Console at g.co/Search Console, which I'm going to put in the chat right now. I actually have, when I'm working with the Search Console, this is something that I actually tap developers to help me with. I don't really do this kind of work on my own. I want to make sure that it's really lined up and installed and organized properly. And I also, of course, oftentimes have my SEO experts make sure that I have categorized and labeled my site pages properly. So this is actually a little bit more technical, but I do encourage you to learn more about Search Console and see if you can integrate that into your company's website. Okay, so now that we've discussed the basics of search engine optimization, I want to take a step back and see if your website appears on the first page of Google results, right? So I want you to go to google.com and think of a word or phrase related to your business. It could be the name of your business, a product name, or it could be the type of services you offer. Do a search for that word or phrase on Google and take a look at the results. I think I said earlier, I said nurse practitioner near me. I think that's what I said. I don't think it was practitioner, it was something else. But this is really helpful and a helpful exercise to see if you're showing up. So do you see your website? If you're not on the first page, you can click next at the bottom of the page and see more results. If you do see your site, how long does it take to display the results? How does it look? Do you like the way the text is being displayed? Is it accurate? Is it compelling? When you click on it, does it take you to the appropriate page on your site? If your website does not appear in the results, if it doesn't appear, what sites are showing up instead, right? This is really great information to have. A lot of times you could say, my site doesn't show up, but the reality is that you can learn why it doesn't show up by looking at your peers. And this is what you call a competitive search. And for example, when I take on new clients at my agency, I do a SWOT analysis, and that helps me understand where are the competitors of this particular company so I can learn from them. So doing searches like this periodically can help you figure out what is and is not working on your site when it comes to the organic search process part, right? Organic search is the most difficult search to get, but it's also the most powerful. So you can start implementing some of the tips from this section on the workshop to help improve your website's chances of appearing in the organic search results, right? So let's move on to that, what we can do with this. All right, so, oh, I love it. Nia's house does show up. So you're winning. I love it. I love it. I love it. So you got what you're looking for. That's amazing. So you know what you should do? Alicia, scroll to the very bottom and see what it says on the bottom. On the very bottom, there should be something that says related searches, and take a look at what shows up there because there's some learning in there too. All right, let's look at the second way your business can show up in the search results, by creating or claiming your free business profile in Google Search and Maps. Okay, so when we did that search in the last section, we were concentrating on organic search. Now I want to talk a little bit about what appears on the right side of the search results page. That's if you're on your desktop, highlighted here, which is a business profile. If you're on mobile, it looks very different. I don't know if some of you are on mobile. You know what? I would love to know. Because you raise your hand in the chat, or not raise your hand, but put in the chat, you're learning this class on mobile. I would love to know who's on mobile and who's on desktop, because it is a very different experience. Okay, yeah, so you're seeing it, you're kind of having a different experience, Catherine, than people that are on desktop, and that's still fine, because you know what? 99.999% of people that have internet access are using their mobile devices to, find your business. So it's really actually an excellent way to do this. And if you can do both, I would suggest doing both. Have a desktop and a mobile open so you can see the different results. Okay, did I already go over this page? Oh, I did. Okay. So, another link I'm going to copy. I want you to get a free business profile right now. Well, you won't get it right now, but if you don't have one, I'd love for you to, copy and paste this and start the process. A business profile helps local businesses be found and manage business information on Google Search and Maps. It's really amazing. So think of your business profile as a sort of digital front window for your business or a digital billboard, right? It allows you to showcase valuable current information that will help customers plan their visit to your location. I have noticed since the pandemic, there are some businesses that are really taking care of their business profile. I'm actually referring to retail businesses that have storefronts or places where you can actually travel and go to, right? Some businesses have really upped their game. They are really taking care of their business profile. Other businesses are not. They are not touching their profile. For example, and I'm not going to call it the business, of course. I would never do that. But he wanted to have dinner last night after he came back from volleyball practice. He went to Google, did a search. The business hours listed on the Google, the business profile listed open until 2 a.m. It was 10:30. He walked to the restaurant. It was closed. The listing was not up to date, and he came home very frustrated. So we had to order online delivery to the door. And, so my point in this is that this is a very powerful tool to use to help people understand what type of business you have, when you're open, when you close, what services you offer, how people can reach you. And this is what people do now, especially the younger generation of people where they don't live anywhere else but online. So when you're listening to this content, think about not just the present of your world, but think about the future and how you can grow your business because, everybody has a different way to access information. But the teenagers like my son, that's what they do. They go to Google and they look to see what's open if they can get food. That's really that's all they're doing all night. Okay, so I put the link in the chat. So once you create and claim your business profile through this link I just shared, it's called verification. You can then manage your information as it appears across Google Search and Maps. So within the dashboard, you can update your address, phone number, website, open hours, plus answer reviews and more to help customers find and connect with your business. A profile can only be created for a business that has a physical location that customers can visit, or a business that that customers travel to see you, but also if you travel to see customers. Let me just rephrase that. So you have to have a physical location that customers come to see you, or you have a business and you have a business in a location, but you travel to see customers at their location, right? General rule of thumb is that a business basically has to have in-person contact with customers during its stated hours. That's really the rule of thumb. If you have strictly an online business, generally you're not eligible for a Google business profile. Okay, I hope that made sense. If it didn't, I can clarify this again. Okay, so you want to make the best of your business profile by including as much information as you can, including hours of operation and special hours. When you access your account, you can also include updates related to COVID-19, like changes in service availability, hours of operation, and a specific COVID-19 post as well. So you want to regularly update your business profile with photos of your products, storefront, interior service providers, whatever best showcases whatever you have to offer. And depending on your business, you may see additional features on your account, like you can book products and services, as much information as you can. Take a look at Burke Creative and you will see how I have my profile organized. I even have my podcast listed because that's a marketing tool and it's also a product. All right, you can also have a business profile to engage with customers. So you want to start with posts, which are really fun to make. Posts allow merchants to post live updates directly on their business profile. You can share information, encourage reservations, promote an email newsletter, encourage people to buy products, whatever you'd like to do. You can also deal with online reviews. So once your business is verified, you have to be verified first, right? You have the option to read and respond to reviews about your business published on Google right in the business profile. It's pretty great. So business owners often ask for advice about negative reviews, like how can I remove them? Google will not remove a review unless it violates a content policy. Instead, Google encourages business owners to respond. You want to respond. Responses might explain the company policy, thank happy customers for positive feedback. They might provide a link to return policies, things like that. safety, COVID rules and regulations, things like that. The timeliness and professionalism of responses does always demonstrate that the business listens to customers, listens to their feedback, and can positively influence potential customers. And believe me, potential customers read reviews. So, and they not only are they reading the reviews, but they're also reading how does the business owner respond to the reviews, right? I will always get turned off by a business that doesn't respond positively to a negative customer review. Always. I'm thinking that is not a business that I want to do business with because they don't know how to handle their business. So another feature to try is messages. Messages allow you to chat directly with customers who find your business profile. So responding to customers can help you answer their questions, tell more of your story, and attract more people to your location. I mean, think about how can you use a tool differently than the way it's stated. Let's see. So Aisha, I provide remote services, but do have an office. Will this still qualify? You do have an office. Yeah, I mean, you work out of an office and you visit customers where they are and you take customer calls. That's a location-based business, right? So you know what? I do have a link I can share at the end of the chat, which will give you more information about what is eligible for a Google My Business listing, because there are some other nuances that I think are important to share, but I don't have all that at the ready right now, but I can definitely get you the link, okay? Because that's a really good question. But I feel pretty confident that you still qualify. Okay. If you've not created a free business profile, I want you to follow these steps to get started. And I put the link, google.com/business. You can claim or complete your business profile. You can request a postcard. And once you get it, in about 5 to 10 days, you want to sign it and enter the verification code. And then boom, your business is verified on Google. If you want to learn more, you can check out some of our existing workshops. They're available on Google On Air website, and I'm copying this link as well. You can learn more about them here. There's a whole series of little tiny snack size videos on Google Business Profile. All right, so we've covered SEO and business profile. I want to talk about a third way you can reach customers on Google with online advertising, and I'm going to show this video with Trade Street Jam. Hopefully it will show up because it's actually excellent. It's a small business that uses Google Ads to grow and thrive. I'm going to cross my fingers that I can get this to play. Please play. Please.
Everybody likes jam. Who doesn't like jam? Seriously, I dream about flavors. Trade Street Jam Company makes low sugar vegan jams for pretty much everything under the sun. Honey, do you know how many things you can do with this jam? You can make cocktails, you can put on roasted meats or veggies, oatmeal. The uses are endless. I've been a chef for about 15 years. I needed something fun to do after work. I'm not a big TV watcher. I would stop at this store on the way home, grab a bunch of fruit, anything weird and exotic that they had, and I start cooking. I start jamming. Too much? You don't like the puns?
Do you like the bananas, honey? Yeah.
My husband is my test dummy, I guess you can say.
You want some more?
You like mommy's cooking?
When I started Trade Street, I was selling on another e-commerce platform, and we were also selling a lot of jam in person. But COVID hit and all the markets shut down, which freaked me out. I'm already scared about being a new mommy. And then on top of that, I'm worried about the life of my business. People started ordering specialty food online, so we immediately had to pivot and focus all of my efforts on selling online. When people go on Google and they search jam or jelly, I want them to be able to find my brand. With Google Ads, they can type those things in and I pop up. You guys, that's huge. Being able to sell on our website, it really did save us. I couldn't imagine going back to not using Google products. We went from making 2,000 jars every 2 months to making 2,000 jars every 2 weeks. Our sales increased by 1,000%. It was crazy. I've hired 4 or 5 different contractors. Hiring feels amazing. I think it's so important for our product to have a story behind it. I think when people see a woman behind the brand, a person of color, it just really adds something to that jar other than jam.
Oh, you kiss mommy. You kissing mommy.
I want Zola to be able to grow up and look at me and say, my mom did that. I wouldn't trade that for the world.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting a little tearful. I I really love that because I have 3 sons and those baby days are so gone. Those baby days are gone. All right, let me see if I can get past the screen.
Everybody likes jam. Who
Hold
doesn't
on.
like jam? Seriously, I dream about flavors.
Okay, here we are. I see what I need to do now. Okay, let's see here. All right, wasn't it great? I mean, I'm like, let me stop tearing up a little bit because I have teenagers now, and my tears are very different with my teenagers. They are very different tears. Yeah, I think it's awesome too. So yeah, it was pretty awesome. I'm so grateful that you think so because I feel like Google's working really hard to try to find stories like this. And I should also mention, if you've been part of my classes ever before, and I launched in Chicago in partnership with many organizations, but BACP was one of the #1 organizations that helped launch Google Digital Coaches for me in Chicago off the ground. If you've ever been to my classes, I'm actually looking for stories because the 5-year anniversary of my launch here is coming up in July, and I'm going to be throwing a small, intimate party. I don't know how, it's going to be relatively small because it's COVID, but I'm looking for stories. So if you were part of my classes in the beginning, and if you were even part of the BACP classes that I launched, I would love to hear your story about how Google helped and how my classes made a difference in your success. I've already gotten several stories, and I'm actually going to put my Google email in here if you want to share a paragraph about anything that helped you related to this content that I've been sharing for 5 years. I'd love to hear your story. So please share your story. I'd love to hear it. All right, let's get back to the workshop. I'm over my emotional hump. All right, so advertising on Google. So you'll notice that video was about advertising, right? So she wasn't talking about the Google business profile. She was talking about how ads have changed her business. Now she's in a great business to run ads. I'm in a great business to run ads. Frankly, everybody is in a great business to run ads. I'm not here to tell you to buy ads, but I am here to share that it's important that you understand the ad environment because ads do sell, especially in this COVID era we're in. It's very difficult to get attention because a lot of very large brands that have a lot of budget, they are taking up a lot of space and land space, digital space all over, and they're activating influencers. They're activating companies like mine to help them get more attention. They're hiring companies like mine to help them understand how to reach more people using content strategy. So what does that mean for a very small business or an entrepreneur? That means that you really have to, up your game, and that means Google business profile, getting some SEO strategies implemented on your website, definitely having a social media strategy, having a LinkedIn presence so that you can share your professional brand reputation online so people understand who you are, just like this young woman did about her own brand. And then also, if you are able, put a little bit of money into some advertising across multiple platforms. You want to be where people are. You can't think about where you are. You have to think about where people are, right? So on Google, though, unlike some social media advertising on Google is called pay-per-click. So in other words, you only pay when people take an action like clicking your ad or calling your business, right? Okay, so ads reach people who are actively searching for the products and services you offer, helping you connect with likely customers. Your ads can appear on websites that are part of Google's display network, which includes millions of partner sites, and these ads can reach people early in the buying cycle, not just when they're searching for things related to your business, but when they're browsing related content, like watching a video on YouTube. The next time you go to YouTube, the next time you browse Google, I want you as a business owner and entrepreneur, because this is a business class, I want you to, and you're not here as a consumer, you're here as a business. I want you to go on these platforms and I want you to start being very intentional about looking for the ads. Let me see if I can find the ad. Oh, here's the ad. I see the ad. Start getting familiar with the ad environment. That way it'll help you understand how you can make it work for you. So depending on the goals you set, the Google ad system will automatically determine where to show your ads to give you the best chance for success. So in this section, we're going to focus on smart campaigns with Google Ads. It's a campaign type designed for small business owners and new advertisers. These campaigns, these smart campaigns are very flexible. You choose your goal, you customize your content, you work with all kinds of budgets. And I see Abby has a question about that. There's no contract or there's no fees to get started. You do need a credit card to put on file so that the credit card can be used to buy the ads and to stop the ads, whatever you want to do with the ads. You control where the ads show and you can control the budget as well. Your ads can do whatever you want them to do. It can bring visitors to your website, but it can also drive phone calls and store visits. Smart campaigns can be set up in just a few minutes, a few steps, and I'm going to show you today. And you can get started with Google Ads by going to ads.google.com. I would also recommend, if you don't have a corporate phone, to take a look at Google Voice. Google Voice is a product that is not in this deck, but I'm going to share with you now. Google Voice is a product that can help you have a quote-unquote corporate phone number, which can then forward any calls, incoming calls from customers, to your regular cell phone, which may be your private phone, and you don't want to have your private phone on any ad. Don't put your phone number on an ad unless it's a company phone, right? You never want to do that, because otherwise, you just don't want to do that. Okay, so anyway, so go to Google, ads.google.com, and then type in search Google Voice and see how you can get a free Google Voice line, okay? It's actually really helpful. If you go to Burke Creative and see my page, that number is not my cell phone number. That's actually my Google Voice line, which then forwards to my personal phone, and actually forwards into an email as well. So this checklist can help you launch a successful smart campaign. I love it, Abby. Tell everybody how awesome and free Google Voice is. So first, you want to decide what your goal is for that particular campaign. You may have multiple goals. You could have multiple campaigns, right? You want to ask yourself, why am I advertising, and what do I want to achieve exactly? Add information about your business so customers can recognize you when they see your ad, or they get to learn who you are, right? You identify where you want a visitor to land on your site after they've clicked your ad. You want to write an ad that encourages people to take an action. Always write an ad that makes people take an action. And you want to choose keyword themes and locations where you want your ads to appear. For example, keyword theme are words or phrases that help match your ads with Google searches. You want to set a daily budget, and remember, you'll only pay when someone interacts with your ad. Once you have all those pieces, you're ready to launch. And I always like to say perfection is the killer of progress. With digital, if you make a mistake, you can always go back and fix it. You can stop it, and you can start over. It's that simple. So with smart campaigns, you want to start with a goal. And the reason I like this particular part of the presentation is that it really helps you think like a marketer. I was in a workshop before the pandemic, and one of the business owners at the workshop said, "This is so much work. This is too much work. Wow, this is a lot." And my suggestion was, these are the things that are required now for people that own a business that are marketers. And you become a marketer. Once you own a business, you have to become a marketer in some way until you get enough money to hire a marketer to do your business. So it's a lot of work, and it can be a lot of work, but the tools that Google creates make it really, really easy to not have to think too much. But you still have to start with a goal. So the goal represents the main activity that you want potential customers to do after they see your ad. So you likely have a lot of goals. You have multiple goals, and in Google Ads, you can create multiple campaigns. But I want to let you focus on one for the sake of this walkthrough. So choose one of these 3 goal types for your campaign. You want to get more calls, like Abby. She's got Google Voice and she loves it. This ad features your phone number and a click to call button. You want to get more website sales or signups with an ad that directs people to your website. And you want to get more visits to your physical location with an ad that helps people find your company on the map. Those are 3 really very, very easy and simple goals, right? So when setting up a new smart campaign, you have the option to link it to your business profile, which we went over a little bit earlier. If you select that option, you can choose whether to send ad clicks to your website or to your business profile on Google search. I mean, some people don't even have a website, believe it or not. They just have a Google business profile and a YouTube page. I mean, there's all different kinds of ways you can represent your business online. So when you link your business profile in smart campaigns, your ads show your business address and link to your business profile or maps driving directions to your business. And you can turn this on or off if it's not right for your business. So otherwise, you want to select no, don't use this information, and that's the option we're going to choose for today's workshop. So you want to enter your business name as you want it to appear in your ad. And you know what? Just as a reminder, you can do 3 different ads and do 3 different goals, and you can also have 3 different ads with 3 different goals, and you can have 3 different audiences that you're reaching within those 3 different goals, right? So there's all different kinds of ways to think about this. So next, you'll enter the web page where you'll like people to land after they click your ad. This can be your home page, But consider whether there's a more specific page to send them to based on what you want them to do there, such as a page for a specific product like a jam sampler or a sign up page for an email newsletter, right? I think earlier I asked you to put in the link in the chat a link to something that people can buy. That was sort of a little exercise to see if anybody was listening before we got to this section, right? So the less they have to navigate around your site themselves before completing the action you want them to take, the better, the better. If you're trying to drive sales, for example, to your seasonal jam flavors, send them straight to the page where they can buy it. So here's a tip that I want you to think about. Your website's homepage may not be the best place to connect with your ad, right? So if the ad was specifically promoting strawberry, chipotle, and fig jam, you'd probably want to send people right to that page, not to the home page, which is going to send them on a wild goose chase and they're never going to come back and they won't buy the jam. That's really what happens. So send them right to the direct page. All right. And you know what? Think about this strategy in terms of your social media presence. Send people to a page where you want people to buy something directly from your social media pages. Don't just put your website. Always have a link in your profile of an action you want people to take. This is a mindset process that you should be deploying everywhere, not just on Google. All right, the system will show you where the ad clicks lead to so you can preview what people will see when they get there. You'll see what they would see on a mobile device as well as a desktop device or a laptop or tablet. This is really a great way to preview what a customer's impression will look like. But remember, this ad will get them to the website, but your website needs to close the sale. Your website needs to close the sale. So the next step is to write your ad. Before you write, you want to think about these things. And this is writing about anything in any context. What do I have to offer? Use that to write an ad that focuses on customer benefits. What do I want to accomplish? Think about that and include a call to action that encourages potential customers to take the next step. Who are my customers, by the way? Write genuine, compelling ads that connect with your audience. You have 3 headlines, which is 30 characters, 2 description lines, 90 characters, and an optional call button to allow people to click to call you directly to your Google Voice. Your headlines are the first thing people see and will play a really big factor in how well your ads perform. Other headlines might highlight the product or service you're promoting with this ad. You know, for example, handcrafted vegan jam. The description can offer more details or context, like what makes your jam different or a special you might be running. Headlines are important. So I always like to also mention, if there are any writers on the call or any marketing writers or anybody that does any kind of original content strategy or development, I would love for you to share your information and say, I'm a writer, I'm happy to help anybody on this call, help them write their ads, because I would not be able to run my business without the tremendous writers that have been a part of my company for many years. Okay, including myself. So once you've written your ad, you'll choose keyword themes. Keyword themes are words or phrases that help match your ads with Google searches. A single keyword theme represents multiple simple words and phrases, similar words and phrases rather. For example, the keyword theme jam makes your ad eligible to show when people are searching for fruit jam, vegan jelly, or buy jam, right? So after your ad is active, you can view your campaign search terms and turn off any that aren't relevant to your business, which is amazing. You're in control of when your ads show as well. If you're selling artisan jam, think about the words and phrases that your potential customers might be searching for. You can draw inspiration from product or service categories on your website, or even how you organize products in your physical store. Those are keyword themes that you'll want to add to your campaign. Seedless raspberry jam, for example. I love seedless raspberry jam. After your ad is active, you can review your campaign search terms and turn off any that aren't relevant to your business, and you're in control again of where your ads show. And this is again where Google Trends comes in very handy. So hopefully you were taking notes about that. So next, you're going to choose where your ads will appear. And you can set a radius around an address or pick specific zip codes, cities, or regions. Remember earlier I talked about the body shave scrub, and we targeted Florida, a specific city in Florida actually. For example, if your products were only available on an in-person store, you might select advertise near an address and set a radius around your business. But if you ship your products, you can choose advertise in specific zip codes, cities, or regions, and select the area that make the most sense for your business. Last night I was at an opening of a store called it used to be called Martha May Art Supplies. During the pandemic, her storefront business, which was in Andersonville, had to shut down, as many businesses did, unfortunately. However, I was able to help her migrate her business online, and guess what? She had an entire country of customers that she never knew existed because she wasn't trapped with the idea that she had to sell at a storefront. a robust online business. So this is the way that online presence can really transform your business. And you don't have to have products for it to work, right? So I'm actually now with my company, because I'm fully online, but I have been for quite a while, I have international customers as well. So don't think that because you don't have a product like a delicious raspberry seedless jam that you can't use these tools just like I can as a service-based business. Okay, so your ads appear to people who are physically or regularly in locations you select, as well as people who express interest in these locations. So you want to choose your location settings pretty carefully, choosing only locations where you do business. If your settings are too broad, you may end up paying for interactions with people who are not potential customers. With smart campaigns, you set a maximum monthly budget. So here's your answer, Abby Scanlon. You'll be presented with a few options where you can create your own. You can do this by setting an average daily budget. This will be multiplied by 30.4, the average number of days in a month, to come up with your maximum monthly budget. So your average daily budget is the average amount you could spend each day. The actual amount will vary depending on how popular the ad is each day, but the most important thing to know is that the total amount you spend in a month will never ever exceed your maximum monthly budget. I don't believe there is a conservative amount to spend on ads. It really depends on your business. If you're selling jam and you're selling chocolate, you're up against Godiva, Target, Mariano's, Kroger. You're up against a lot more, right? If you're selling more niche specialized services, it's a little bit different. So you also have to, this is a broader conversation, of course. These are not hard and fast rules in this workshop, but there are more considerations when it comes to running ads and how much you would recommend spending. But I will say that generally, $30 a month, or $30 a day gives you very different results. 30 a day, 30 a month, you're going to get different results. And I know that that makes sense to people on the call that are because you're here for business and you get that. All right. So before setting your campaign live, you'll have the chance to review it, make any necessary changes that you need, and then launch it. I highly suggest, go back for 1 minute, I highly suggest you just try it out and see what works. And if it doesn't work, turn it off. I learn by doing. I can't learn unless I'm doing things. And so this is the way that I learn. That's the kind of learner I am. Some people do more research before they do. Some people spend a lot of time doing research and then they do. I'm a little bit more, let me just go for this and see what happens. And if it doesn't work, I'll stop. All right. So once your campaign is running, you can continually review its performance and make adjustments, which is the beautiful thing about having all this online. Creating different versions of your ads to see which gets you more results that you want. And more ads lead up to 15% better performance without increasing your budget, right? And that's something to think about. More ads can lead up to 15% better performance without increasing your budget. Negative keyword themes, these are themes you want to exclude. You want to add those because you want to make sure your ads don't show up on searches that are not relevant to your business. So for example, if you sell gourmet jam, you may not want to show your ad when people are searching for recipes, right? This helps you focus your ad budget. So you can get more specific about when you want your ads to appear, like weekdays or business hours only, and you can also connect your ad campaign to Google Analytics, which is a free tool that can help you show what people are doing on your website. If you don't know what Google Analytics is please go to Google search and say, what is Google Analytics? You cannot run a business really effectively without it. Okay. So then you can see how many times your ads appears, impressions, and how many times your ad is acted upon, things like that. And don't forget, you can pause your campaign at any time. So just to recap, okay, what we covered in today's workshop, and I have a few more resources to offer. All right, so we looked at the 3 ways you can appear on Google in the organic search results with the business profile and Google Ads. And this illustration shows you the 3 distinctive areas that can showcase your brand, products, or services on Google. First, build or improve your website to make your search mobile friendly. Try the tools I mentioned today in today's workshop. Trends, Google Trends, Test My Site, and Google Search Console, right? And then try Google Ads. Try it, see what happens. $5, $10, or maybe nothing. At least do some more research, do your own research, and find out more about Google Ads and see if it can work for you. And also, the next time you're searching and you're looking at YouTube and you're on other Google profiles and things like that, look for the ads. That way you can start getting used to ads and seeing what they're doing and how they're working for you, or how they're working to try to get your sale, and figure out how you can translate that process into your own process so you can get other people can get to get your business and your products and things like that. Okay. So try and see what happens. If you want to learn about any other topics, refer to this slide, take a screenshot. This is going to be recorded, and you can always do a Google search. I do want to mention one more thing. I'm going to skip the Google Primer app. I will put the link in the chat. But I want to talk really briefly about Google certificates. Okay. So we have a scholarship program now called Google Career Certificates, which is helpful for you to train your employees or train yourself. U.S. businesses can get up to 500 scholarships each to Google Career Certificates. And these scholarships are worth up to $100,000 in workforce training per American company. So businesses can use Google Career Certificates to train their employees for jobs in data analytics, digital marketing, e-commerce, IT support, project management, or user experience UX design. No experience is required, and employees can earn an industry-recognized credential in 3 to 6 months of part-time study. You do not need a college degree for this. You do not. This is for everybody 16 and up. For every scholarship Google gives, a business will be gaining capabilities, and at the same time, an employee will be growing their skills. And it's really important. Oh, that's excellent, Rebecca. It's really important that if you are an employer, that you are helping your employees get more skills. Otherwise, why are they working there and what are they learning? This is what's important, and this is what's helpful about these career certificates. You're investing in your employees' success for their future and their ability to keep moving forward with their career and get other jobs, because always know that employees are not with you forever. They may be with you forever, but you have to believe that they may not be. So having a continuous learning program within your company is excellent, and it's actually a great recruiting tool for you to let people know that you are invested in your employees that work there because you want them to be trained on technology. This is very important, and it really makes a huge difference. But here's a fine print. U.S. businesses are eligible to receive up to 500 scholarships for Google Career Certificates on Coursera, valid through only December 18th of 2024. Eligibility and number of licenses granted to application, business verification, and approval by Coursera, right? There's always that fine print. But I'm putting in the chat, businesses can apply at grow.google/certificates for business. Highly encourage this. I cannot wait, Rebecca, if you can share in the chat what your favorite part of the project management certificate process is for you. I would like to hear it, because project managers are a really good project manager. Not only can make a lot of money, but they're eligible for so many jobs. It is amazing. Project managers are the best. Number one required job, in my opinion. If you feel like, comfortable sharing, Rebecca, I would love to hear more. So I would love for you to think about everything we covered today. And if anybody wants me to go back to a slide, put it in the chat, say, could you go back to the slide about this? I'm happy to do that. What quick and easy wins do you think you can get as you're trying to do some of this work that I shared today with this workshop? Maybe something you're going to do today is you're going to do test my site. Maybe you're just going to do test my site once a day or once a month. Maybe you're going to launch your first Google business profile and you're going to start adding features and coupons and things like that. Maybe you're going to launch a YouTube channel. I didn't talk about YouTube. That's a whole different workshop. But just let me know and think about some things. Have a goal, have a strategy. And, if you're going to do one thing today, what do you think that's going to be? I mean, please share it in the chat. Come up with a small step. Your site needs improvement. Yes, we all need improvement. And don't forget, please remember to take my survey. It would be very helpful, not only for Google, Grow with Google, but it also helps Google understand what a great partner BACP is and how many great people are on this call. So Donna, I'm going to go to the chat now because I'm dying. I feel like some people are putting some really funny, interesting things. Okay. Donna says, I tested my site and it really needs improvement. I'm going to reduce the size of my pictures to start. Excellent. Yes, excellent. And you know what? There's a lot of resources out there, Donna, that help you automatically and instantly reduce the size of images and still maintain the crispness. Let's see, Rebecca, learning all the words to the processes that made sense in my brain, but I didn't have the right words in my previous career. Okay. I mean, I love that. Can you name a word? I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I love this. I love this. Learning all the words. Okay. Yeah. You know what? Technology has really changed so much, Rebecca, and we have so much access to information now that before, you would have to really, really dig deep and hard and go far and wide to learn things. And now it's just a couple of words and on the internet and online, and you can find out everything. It's incredible. Oh, you quit. Wow. Okay. Project management, Rebecca. Those jobs are everywhere. Just, you know what? If you go to LinkedIn and type in project management jobs, they're everywhere. They're all over the place. People need project managers. Okay. Let's see what else. Thank you, John. I hope this was helpful. Stavanovich. I love that. I love saying names like that. Stavanovich. It just sounds so like Stavanovich. I love it. Thank you, Donna. Richard Baker. You enjoyed listening to that. It's fantastic. Does anybody have any questions, Geraldine? I answered Abby's question. Does anybody else have any questions? Are there any questions in the Q&A that I can try to support?
I'm not sure if you got this one already, but regarding Google reviews, merchandisers can pay Google ad fee to publish only good reviews online from customers and eliminate bad reviews, correct?
Um, okay, say that one more time because I
Sure.
feel like I heard something about paying reviewers and that
Yeah,
sort of
no
that I got the
problem.
minute I heard paying reviewers that
I know, I saw you
everything,
concentrate on that one.
yeah, everything kind of shut down there because the first rule of thumb is you do not pay reviewers. Okay, so now can you
Okay,
say it again? Try
no
it next.
problem.
Yeah.
Let me reread. Regarding Google reviews, merchandisers can pay Google ad fee to publish only good reviews online from customers and eliminate bad reviews, correct?
Um, I'm gonna say a relatively hard no, but I also need that question to be put to me in an email so that I can get a little bit more clarity because what I think I'm hearing is that someone is leaving a review and then you're taking that review to then make it into an ad. That's what I'm feeling I'm hearing. But I'm
It
not
kind of
that,
seems like they want to pay for a Google ad only to publish the good reviews, and they think they can by paying, they think they can eliminate the bad reviews.
yeah, I mean, I do go back to my original. That sounds like a hard no,
Okay,
but I would like this person to email this question to me because I want to read it again because I think I mentioned earlier that I am a visual and I'm a doer learner. It's hard for me to hear this question and really understand it because I feel like what they're asking for in general is can they remove a review and that's no. And can they pay to have people review things? Yes, you can definitely pay to have people review things, but there is an ethical question around doing that. So I'd love this person to put the question to me via email and I can try to get more clarity around that if that's
great.
helpful.
That's very helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Any other
Um,
questions? I'm looking right now. I would love for people to sign up for my newsletter because I have more classes coming up. I'm going to be doing classes related to Google and other amazing technologies.
I don't see any other questions. I see a lot of great comments. This is great. Thank you. It's a little overwhelming with all the new information they got, but they're going to break it down day by day, and they're feeling more confident now with what they know and what they learned.
Does anybody have any questions related to the Google certificate program? So I did position this for employers, but if you type in Google certificates and you're not an employer, you're a person on the call listening to this, you can still get a Google certificate as Rebecca's doing right now. If anyone has any questions around this, it's a really tremendous program. And once Google ends it, it's never coming back. So I would highly recommend you take advantage of this now. For the person who just mentioned, a lot of new words and new technology and new learning. The Google certificate helps break it down even further. So I encourage you to do that because you'll be eligible. Once you get a certificate, you'll be eligible to get different types of jobs that are part of the Google ecosystem. Let's see.
I don't see any other questions.
I like Hello Tidy Up Experts. Are you on Jasny? Are you still here? Or do you have a Google business profile? I know you can't bring people off mic, but I would suggest, so I actually just hired a cleaning service and I helped this cleaning service. They just started their new service and I helped them get their Google business profile up and running. And they feel so empowered now. They didn't know about it. They had no idea that you could do this. They had no idea that they could advertise online. They thought they just had to put cards around people's fences. And they're a fantastic cleaning service. And I'm just really proud of them that they're now, I mean, I feel like they're a real business now because they have a Google business profile. You know, it really does change the game. Newfound event planning and design. That sounds interesting. I'm going to check that. Oh, you have a Wix site. That's amazing. I'd love to hear more about that. Maybe you can put that in the chat. James is still undecided on business direction, but these tools I know are important. Okay. Yes, you do have to have a little bit of a direction, but it's also helpful to know what you need to do once you get your business direction in place, right? I mean, having an understanding of the landscape before you start is always really helpful. And I love it. There's a lot of real estate agents on here. Real estate agents. Actually, you have a very diverse crowd, Geraldine. There's an art and play studio.
Yes, I'm noticing that.
Yeah, Dream Vacations. Wow, Veronica Lowy, Dream Vacations, a certified travel advisor. I need a dream vacation. Veronica, can you help me? I want to go to Morocco. What's a cottage law bakery? Oh, Rebecca's Confections. Okay. Cottage law bakery? I am not sure what that even means. I'm starting a cottage law bakery. All right. Just on Instagram. Put your Instagram channel, Rebecca, so people can go check it out. Well, the bar method. Yeah, I need to go back. I gotta get myself back together in the bar method. Thank you for coming, Bar Method Gold Coast. Give me a ring. I'd love to help you do more work on your Google business listing, Google profile. That would be amazing. Bar Method is fantastic. I know women that have just completely reformed and recreated their bodies because of the Bar Method. All right. Well, I really enjoyed this class. If there are other questions for me, if you want to reach out to me via my newsletter, if you'd like to email me at jbirkenbeuel@google.com, you're welcome to do so. I'm really excited to have met all of you on this call. I hope you come to the next class, which is when, Geraldine?
July 8th, and it is posted on BACP's website. It's www.chicago.gov/business education. And I could put that in the chat as well. But I want to thank everyone for attending. JinJa, thank you as always. Great presentation, great energy, love it. And I wish everyone a great and safe weekend.
Thank you so much, Geraldine. We'll see you next month.